Before we get into today's video, I just want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all are having a wonderful week. I hope everybody is feeling good. I hope everybody is healthy and doing well. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about a situation that happened a few years back, but it just has so many twists and turns. Just when you think you know what direction it's heading, it twists, it turns, it twists, it turns. So make sure you stay to the end of this video. Before we get into it though, I did want to let you guys know, if you don't already know, hi, my name is Christina. I do have a second channel, which is Casually Christina. We just do things way more casually over there. I also have a Patreon. My Patreon's for 18 and up. And over there, we talk about more personal stuff. We go live over there. There's a $2 tier for all the true crime stuff that cannot go onto YouTube due to their terms and policies. That goes over on my Patreon under the $2 tier. Just make sure you read the full about section and what each tier offers before you join. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Spotify, and Like to Know It. And Like to Know It is a platform where you can find links to a lot of the things that I like and that I use, like new jackets for the winter, boots, clothing items, makeup, skincare, cooking utensils, workout gear, all kinds of stuff, furniture. Basically anything that I need to link or would like to link, I can link those over on my Like to Know It, and I do. And all of those platforms are linked down in the description box if you would like to come and check me out. Before we go any further, I did want to stop and thank today's sponsor, HelloFresh. HelloFresh is a meal kit delivery service that delivers the ingredients right to your front door. I am sure most of y'all, I know for myself for sure, am completely worn out from the holidays and all of the hustle and bustle of that, and I am definitely glad to be starting a new year fresh. Well, with HelloFresh, there is always something for everyone to enjoy on their weekly menu. They have over 50 chef-crafted recipes to choose from every single week, plus customizable options to make your meals just the way you like them. You will easily be able to satisfy every different craving in your home. And I know definitely for me, there is nothing like having that reassurance in the back of my mind when I'm having a long day. I'm not going to get home until late. My son has some sort of sports in the evenings, or he's got youth service. I have my HelloFresh at the house ready to go. I've told y'all before, my favorite is the quick and easy meals that I can cook in 20 minutes or less. And I know that no matter what's going on, I can go home and get a hot, delicious meal plated up and ready for my boys in less than 30 minutes. And with HelloFresh Market, you can save valuable time with fewer trips to the grocery store, because there are over 100 different add-on items that you can add to your weekly box, like quick breakfast items, packable snacks, beverages, and so much more. And if you are too busy to cook at home, like say for this week, you're like, I'm going to be too busy, I'm not in the mood to be cooking, you can easily skip a week of delivery if you need to. There really are no commitments. If you want to try HelloFresh, you can get up to 10 free meals and free shipping on your first box with code ChristinaRandall10FM. Free meals applied as a discount on your first box, new subscribers only, and it does vary by plan. But yes, that is up to 10 free HelloFresh meals and free shipping. Just go to HelloFresh.com, use my code ChristinaRandall10FM, and you can save today. Thanks again, HelloFresh. Okay, you guys, have you ever been in a situation where you find out someone that you know has done something, we'll just say unexpected, and you just cannot believe that they would do that? Like a situation where you are just totally shocked that you thought you knew someone when you really didn't. Yes, I know a lot of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about here. Or what about finding out a secret about someone that totally changes the way you see them? It definitely has to be a certain type of secret for me personally to know somebody, to think that they're a person that I like or that I enjoy, and to find out something that changes the way I see them, those types of things are on a short list, but if you know, you know. But what if it was someone that you were really close to? What if it was your spouse, your partner, your husband, or your wife? Today I want to talk to you about the case of a man named Charles who had been hiding a secret for many years. Charlie Brandt was born on February 23rd of 1957 to his parents, Herbert and Ilsa Brandt. Charlie had an older sister named Angela. Now, Herbert and Ilsa, they were German immigrants who originally settled in Texas before they eventually moved to Connecticut. Herbert worked as a laborer for a division of International Harvesters, which was an American manufacturer of agriculture and construction equipment. They did all kinds of stuff. They did cars, they did commercial trucks, they did lawn and garden products, household equipment, and so much more. Now, he eventually worked his way all the way up to draftsman and project engineer. Now, because of Herbert's job, the family moved around a lot, which meant that Charlie and his sister Angela went to several different schools. In school, Charlie was considered a really good student who never got into any kind of trouble, but it was said by his teachers or by people that knew him that he was very shy, he was introverted, and he did have difficulty adjusting to new surroundings, which he obviously had to do a lot of because how often him and his family moved. But overall, it seemed like the Brandts had somewhat of what people would consider to be a normal life. Almost like a military family, which was very common at that time. Now, Charlie and his father, Herbert, would quite often go hunting together, and the family frequently went on vacation to Florida. Herbert and Ilsa, Charlie's parents, would later go on to have 2 more daughters. This was a while after they had Angela and Charlie, so there was like some years in between the 2 older and the 2 youngest. Charlie would then later go on to get a degree in electronics, and he became a radar specialist for Ford Aerospace. Then in 1986, Charlie married a woman named Terry. They lived in a beach house on Big Pine Key, Florida, and Terry was described as very happy-go-lucky. She was super outgoing. She was carefree. She was a kind person. Everybody loved to be around her. Charlie and Terry's friends all described them as the perfect match. So you get it. You've got the guy who's like kind of like the smart, nerdy, quiet, introverted type of personality. And then you've got Terry, who is lively, vibrant, outgoing, bubbly. And they were just opposites, and they just clicked. One friend specifically said that Terry and Charlie were inseparable, and that if a husband could love a wife 1/3 of the amount of what Charlie loved Terry, that woman would be the luckiest woman in the entire world. She said that she never saw them argue. She never saw them fight, any kind of spats. She said she never even saw Charlie get angry with his wife Terry or anything like that. So it was completely shocking when Charlie seemingly just snapped right out of the blue. On September 2nd, 2004, Charlie and Terry had to evacuate their home due to Hurricane Ivan. Now, their niece, Michelle, invited them to stay at her home in Orlando, Florida. 37-year-old Michelle was a very successful executive at the Gold Channel in Orlando. Michelle, the niece, kept in regular contact with her mother, Mary, while Charlie and Terry were in town as well as several other friends. But on September 13th, one of Michelle's friends was supposed to come over until Michelle stopped her, saying that Charlie and Terry had gotten into this big fight after they were drinking. She said after dealing basically with them all day, so she's telling her friend, listen, my aunt and uncle are here staying with me because of Hurricane Ivan. They were drinking all day. They were getting in this spat. I'm exhausted. All I want to do is go to bed now. Then Michelle went radio silent. Michelle's friends had not heard from her for several days, and neither had her mother, Mary. Now, this was very concerning for her mother, Mary, especially because it was totally out of character for her. Michelle always called her mom. She was very close with her, and they talked all the time, and now she hadn't heard from her in days. However, Mary was all the way in North Carolina, and so she ended up calling one of Michelle's best friends, Debbie, and asked Debbie to go over to the house to check on Michelle. Debbie said that she too had thought something strange was going on. And so she said, yeah, okay, I'm going to go over there and check on Michelle. So she rushed over there in a hurry. When she got there, she actually had a key herself to her best friend Michelle's home, and she tried to put it in the lock of the door, but it would not work. So she ended up heading around to the back to go to the garage door. Now, the way that Michelle's garage door was, it was almost completely all fully glass, and so she could see straight through the garage door. When she got closer to the garage door and was able to see more through it past the glare, this is when she was absolutely shocked. She saw Charlie in the air. She also saw a bed sheet that was connected to the rafters, and Charlie was no longer alive. Debbie immediately and frantically called 911. Now, when the officers arrived, they went into Michelle's home, and this is where they found the bodies of Terry and Michelle. Terry had been injured with a sharp object 7 times in the chest while she was laying on the couch. Michelle had been completely decapitated, and I'm going to save you the details, but they were not good. Okay, different parts of her body had been placed outside of where they should have been. Now, the weapons that were used were from Michelle's own kitchen. Investigators noticed that all of the doors were locked in the home, and there was no indication of struggle or like somebody breaking in. So this led them to only basically one possible conclusion, and that was that Charlie had done these terrible things to his wife and his niece before ending up the way he did in the garage. The investigators then started to try to piece this timeline together and try to make out what they thought could have possibly happened. They said that it looked like they had all had dinner together that evening. It looked like Charlie had actually cooked some type of fish, and it also looked like they had some drinks together. But after dinner is when Michelle told her friend not to come over because Charlie and Terry had been drinking and they had gotten into an argument. Charlie must have gone on some sort of rampage after that. The investigators learned that Terry and Charlie were actually supposed to have left that day, but for some reason, Charlie had insisted on staying just one more night. That night is the night that everything happened. They think that it's because Charlie knew what he wanted to do, and so he did not want to leave without carrying out this twisted plan. Now, there was no note that was left behind to offer any kind of explanation from Charlie. And everyone from the investigators to Terry and Michelle's friends and family were so shocked, and everybody was confused. You remember earlier what I said that Terry and Charlie's friends said. I mean, even the one friend that said, if a wife has a husband that loves her a third of the amount of the way Charlie loved Terry, she would be the luckiest woman in the entire world. I mean, they just could not understand why Charlie, who they thought was quiet, well-mannered, so loving, would ever do anything like this. It wasn't until Charlie's sister, Angela, came forward to tell the investigators about an incident that had happened during their childhood that everyone would finally understand who Charlie really was. Angela, Charlie's sister, was supposed to join all of the relatives for a sit down to talk with them, to talk with the investigators, and basically just to be with everybody. However, Angela never showed up to this meeting. She actually did show up though, but she was sitting in her car and she would not get out. She was sitting in the parking lot and she was watching everybody leave from this get together, and she was waiting for a moment to catch the investigators alone. When everybody left and she caught the investigators alone, this is when she said, "There is something that I need to tell you." It was a secret that her family had kept for more than 3 decades. On tape, Angela told the lead investigators that back in January of 1971, when she was 15 years old and Charlie was just 13, that they were living with their parents in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Charlie had actually committed his first murder. It was just after 9 p.m. Angela was reading in her bedroom. Their parents were in the bathroom. Herbert, their father, was actually shaving while their mother, who was pregnant at the time, was taking a nice relaxing bath. That's when she heard like these loud pops. She said that she thought that they were firecrackers. You got to understand, she's 15, laying in bed reading. She's not thinking too much. She just hears these loud pops. But then she heard her father shout, "Charlie, stop."
I haven't told this story. I can't remember when.
This is Investigator Rob Hemmert with the Seminole County Sheriff's Office. The person being interviewed is Angela, and the last name is Brandt. That's all right.
Okay, I won't cry.
All right.
It was January 3rd, 1971.
Charlie was 13?
Yes.
And Angela, you were how old? 15. Tell me again what took place and what was going on.
9:10 p.m.
Okay.
We had just gotten a color TV.
Right.
So we were all sitting around watching the FBI, Efren Zimbalist Jr. and all that.
Okay.
The FBI was over. We went upstairs. I went and got in bed to read my book like I always did before I went to sleep.
Okay.
My mom ran a bath and read Time magazine. My dad was shaving.
Okay. So you're in your bed reading, and what happens next?
I heard loud noises, which I perceived to be firecrackers.
Okay.
For the simple reason, not that that makes any sense.
That's all right.
But, I mean,
Sure.
what other loud noise is there?
Popping.
Yeah, just a really loud noise. And I just thought it was firecrackers. So I started pulling the covers back to see why on earth, there was all this noise going on. But then I heard my father yell, "Charlie, don't," or "Charlie, stop." And my mom was just screaming, and the last thing I ever heard my mom say was, "Angela, call the police."
So what happens after that?
So as I said, I was removing the covers from my bed and getting out of the bed, and all this took place in split seconds.
Okay.
I mean, this has got to be less than a minute, I would think, okay?
Right.
And I get up, and as I'm getting up, he comes into my room.
Charlie.
Okay. Brandishing a gun. I didn't even realize what it really was. I mean, until he aimed it at me, and he pulled the trigger.
Okay. So you hear it click.
I was going to say, I could hear it click.
Okay.
And I guess when he realized the gun didn't have any more bullets, that must be what he threw it on the floor. And as I said, I was lucid enough to kick it under the bed. I didn't know if it had any bullets in it or not. I don't even know what was going on.
Right.
And then a physical altercation ensued. I think he struck me. I do. I think because I had blood and just bruises, and I fought back. This is the only physical altercation I've ever been in my entire life. Okay? And I guess I won because I'm here to tell about it. I don't know.
Right.
And my brain, I remember I was only 15. My brain was trying to assimilate what was going on, and I was trying to get away from him at the same time. He was very strong. Next thing I know that I can remember is I was laying flat on my back. My bed was right here.
On the bed?
No, on the floor.
Okay.
Probably knocked me to the floor. I don't know.
Okay.
And he was sitting on me, and he was...
Okay.
Okay. I was drifting in and out. I don't think that I got him off of me physically.
All right.
The way I remember it is, I saw the weird look on his face, the madness, the glazed over look.
Okay.
I saw it disappear. He just looked more like himself, and he said, "What am I doing? Or what have I done?" And I remember perfectly saying, "I don't know, but I think you shot Dad." Because I heard my dad yelling, "Charlie, don't do that," or "Charlie, stop." And he said, "Oh, I did," or whatever. I said, "I don't know, but get off of me so we can figure it out." Okay, and he did. He got off of me. My next step, I was trying to get out of the house. He goes, "So you're not going to leave me, are you?" Of course I said no.
Sorry.
No, I would run out the door. And I did. As soon as I thought he was far enough away, I ran. Have you ever seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yeah.
I saw it once in my life. I could never watch it again. You know the girl screaming?
Yeah.
The way she ran screaming? That was me. I was just a little girl. I was running through the snow in my bloody nightgown, torn, just screaming. I got to the first house right across the street. I didn't knock on the door. I turned the knob and it was locked. And then I ran to the next house, and by the time I got to the next house, my brother had apparently come down the steps. He was outside. And all my life, I've heard him screaming after me, "Angie, you promised you wouldn't leave me. You promised you wouldn't leave me." But I did.
Sadly, Ilsa, Charlie's mother, passed away immediately. Herbert did survive, and he identified his son Charlie to the police. He told them that he had no idea why Charlie did what he did. He just could not believe it. The courts couldn't charge Charlie because of his age, and so a judge ordered that he spend over a year in a psychiatric hospital. Now, in the hospital, after undergoing many evaluations, none of the psychiatrists were ever able to diagnose Charlie with any mental issues. It's just like the incident appeared and disappeared, and he's having all these psychiatric evaluations and nobody's finding anything wrong with him, okay? They just could not explain why Charlie did what he did. I don't know, to me, y'all, what is more creepy, if he would have got diagnosed with a bunch of stuff or the fact that they couldn't find anything. Now, because of Charlie's age, his record was sealed, and Herbert, the father, told the family to keep things quiet. Once Charlie got out of the psychiatric hospital, Herbert moved the family to Florida, and life went on without any mention of what had happened. Anyone who knew what happened never said a word. Charlie and Angela's two younger sisters were too young to remember what happened, and they ended up being told that their mother passed away in a car accident. Everyone else said that Charlie seemed completely normal afterwards. It just was like a little blip. Y'all, I am knowing about that. That to me is more unsettling than if there was an explanation. Because even though he seemed normal afterwards, he wasn't. After the incident in 2004, investigators got a search warrant for Charlie and Terry's home on Big Pine Key. Inside, they found a medical poster displaying the female anatomy. There were also medical books and anatomy books, as well as a newspaper clipping that showed a human heart. Charlie's internet history was even more sinister. He had been searching topics related to necrophilia and all kinds of stuff against women. The investigators also found a lot of Victoria's Secret's catalogs, which was really disturbing because investigators had learned that Charlie's nickname for his niece Michelle was Victoria's Secret. Yeah. The investigators say that this is when things started to all make sense to them. They believe that Charlie had become obsessed with Michelle, his niece, and that his desires came to fruition when him and Terry went to go and stay with her during the hurricane. Now, given all of this and the fact that Charlie traveled for work a lot, the lead investigators started to believe that Charlie may have been some sort of like serial killer. So this investigator started to look into cold cases in Florida. This led the investigator to a 1989 killing of a 38-year-old woman named Sherry near Charlie's home. Sherry Parisot's partially clothed body was found on July 16th of 1989 floating in the water near North Pine Channel Bridge at Big Pine Key, where Charlie lived. Her throat had been opened and her head had been nearly severed. Her body was extensively messed with, in the same way as Michelle's was found, and so many parts had been removed. Sherry was found literally within 1,000 feet of where Charlie lived, and Charlie matched the description of a person seen crossing the road near where Sherry's body was found. The investigators found out that Terry, Charlie's wife, had actually confided in her brother-in-law that she suspected Charlie might have been involved in Sherry's ending, and that he had come home with red liquid substances on his shirt the night that it happened. Based on all of this evidence, the sheriff's office actually officially closed the case in 2006. Now, aside from Sherry's case, there wasn't enough evidence to officially link Charlie to any other crimes, but here are a few that investigators believe that Charlie is responsible for. 12-year-old Carol Sullivan. Carol was taken from a school bus stop in Volusia County, which is in the Daytona area, on September 20th of 1978. Charlie was 21 years old at the time and lived in that county, but could not be tied to the crime in any other way. There was also 20-year-old Lisa Saunders. Lisa had been dragged from her car in Big Pine Key in December of 1988. She too had organs that were removed from her body. There's also 38-year-old Darlene Toller. Darlene was from Miami, and her body was also found in the similar ways as Michelle's and some of the other women. The investigators believe that the true number of Charlie's victims could be more than 30. Terry's parents believe that Charlie never told her about what he had done to his family back when he was 13. They believe that Terry would have never ever married him if she had known. They say that to this day, Herbert and Angela have never acknowledged that telling Terry may have saved lives. Mary Lou, Michelle's mother, says that Herbert has never made any effort to say how sorry he was that this happened to them. When asked if he had ever discussed what had happened with his son after his release from the psychiatric hospital, Herbert said that he never did. So basically, after his son got out, they never brought it up again. In the end, it seems as Charlie fooled everyone. Have y'all heard about this? The beginning part of this is there. It's weird because in this situation, the red flags are the green flags, right? The red flags are the green flags. And the green flags were things like he was the perfect husband. People thought that he loved her more than anything. They never argued. The fact that he was in a psychiatric hospital and he had no mental issues. He got out in a year. They never talked about it again, like he was just healed. I mean, whoa. Have y'all heard about this? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Other than that, thank y'all for watching this video. I love y'all. I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see y'all in the next one.